All right, and we are live. We are live, guys.
We need to be free thinkers, then we need to learn how to feel free. People say feel free, but we don't even know how to feel free or think free. Say what you feel, positive and negative. Welcome to the
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Moomin Radi from Third Eye Philosophy. Today I got a real special video. I've been wanting to do a video like this for a very long time. Okay, it's about racism. All right. So, yeah, but before we get started, you see the Merc? Look at the Merc. Let's be honest. Dope, right? You can always go to the Merc shop and claim your Merc. You also become a member and get 15% off on all Merc from the Merc shop. Got me? You know, I got up and I just wanted to talk about racism, man, because it's a tight subject, and I got some videos I want to show you that I'm going to react to. And what people on the left don't understand, that naturally the ordinary person is not inherently racist, but they can be indirect racist. Now, what I mean by that is they believe certain things about a certain race that's incorrect, and it's racist, but they actually think they're actually out to actually try to save black people, and the problem is they actually think that they actually think that because of their skin color that they are above that other race. So that in by definition is racism. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up these videos I'm going to show you. And it amazes me how people are so clueless to what's going on out here. It amazes me. I'm amazed. All right. Now check out this video right here. Right. These two kids like are communists, and they think communism is a really good thing. Like they think communism is here to save the world. And they try to use black oppression as a tool to why we need communism. And then one of them admitted that, you know, they tried communism in the past, but it didn't work. They didn't do it right. But for some reason, these same people who claim that there's some type of oppression, systematic oppression, some institutional oppression going on, want to put those same governments in power. Because a lot of people don't understand that communism, under communism, the government had extreme amount of power over the people. And they think they could get 100% equality under this system. But I'm gonna go ahead and play the video. I digress. I'm gonna play the video.
YouTube channel. Subscribe to them.
Perfect. Okay, question for you. Hi guys, do you want to do a group interview here? You look cute. You gotta show that outfit off, okay? All right, real quick. I won't hold you guys up.
me and James are both white people. Like we are in the oppressive class, and like we recognize.
Am I in the oppressive class?
Yeah, just like we benefit from white privilege in a way that like it's not obvious, but it's in a more subtle way. I mean, look around. Do you see any indigenous people?
Yeah, I talked to a lot today, actually.
Really? What tribes were they from?
I didn't ask because that's not important to me.
But it is.
Do you know the history?
It's not important to me.
Of this campus?
Tell me about it.
This was built. Most of it was built by slave labor.
Why are you here?
Many buildings have the names of slaveholding families.
Why do you go in them?
Well, because Rutgers has a legacy also on top of this with really radical politics. Paul Robeson went here, the famous Black communist.
Communist. Should we be celebrating that?
Are you triggered?
No, I'm asking you a question.
I believe, communism's a great thing, actually. I mean, obviously, it's been implemented in ways that haven't been effective in some
Can you show me where it's been effective?
I believe naturally humans hold a collective spirit. We are not atomized individuals. Neoliberalism has torn through humanity.
So individualism is out of the picture.
I believe we all have individual rights and the right to self-determination, as Palestinian people do as well.
Very brave.
Understand why? There we go.
Yes. And I also believe that naturally we are innately collective. And I believe that we all exist in a mosaic of humanity. And I think the fact that the capitalist system and neoliberalism has completely destroyed that produces ideologies like the far right that believe that in some ways ecofascism is a direct result of that.
Oh my God, you were throwing out all these really crazy, weird terms. Ecofascism. No, they are. Like, honestly, if you talk to a normal person, ecofascism, that's really stupid.
Now, what make this stupid is that they throw out these terms, they bash these terms together, thinking it's going to make a different meaning from what it really is. This is what socialist Democrats do. Okay. Now, fascism, what is it? Well, fascism is where government have full control over ordinary activities in a human lives that they ain't supposed to have. In other words, when people try to get other people in line to live how they want them to live, they use government to enforce laws to force people how to live. Communism, fascism. So these people really think that communism will bring equality. And the only way it could do that is by force. So let me continue.
The shooter self-identified as an eco-fascist. He wrote a manifesto about the climate crisis. He said he accepted the science and then scapegoated Black and brown people as a scapegoat for the climate crisis. This is real threats that we're dealing with. And I think to say that they're not real problems really minimize.
I never said that. I said it's silly. What is ecofascism? What is that?
It's this idea that it's a branch of far-right politics. Usually far-right people don't accept the fact that climate change is a real pressing problem.
What do you think about this? You're just a bystander. What do you identify with? Are you a right-wing, left-wing? Don't really care?
Don't really care.
Okay.
I'm in the middle.
Okay. What about ecofascism? Are you contributing to that?
I wasn't really listening to anything that was just said.
I don't blame you. If you want to walk away, you're totally free to. You look like you have more.
Is your name Caitlin Bennett?
It is, yeah.
I've seen you. I don't know. Okay.
All right. Have a good day. All right. Very.
Clearly, that dude is a leftist. Okay. But he probably got more leftist ideas than right-wing ideas. I mean, but if you're on the right, you don't look down on Caitlin Bennett, okay? Because Caitlin Bennett puts work in. That's a fact. She puts work in. She gets in their face. She gets tough, you know. But let me continue.
Very cool, guys. I mean, I wouldn't be, if you're that conscious about slavery and the Native Americans, I wouldn't be on this campus if you told me all that crazy history. But, I mean, it is really weird that you're okay with communists being here.
So we can.
Yes, I need the education.
No, I didn't say that. I said we are here getting an education so we can better the systems that we do believe are structurally oppressing people.
Bruh. They going in the system with a socialist democrat / communist ideology, trying to change the system. It's capitalism system. Now, in the past, our system used to enact a lot of communist ideology. And we fought our way out of that into a more capitalist society. And they keep bringing up the fact that the past, it used to be communism, but it wasn't enacted the right way. But in the past, there was things like racial segregation, slavery, and these were during when our government was more communist and socialist. Well, today, socialist is a different term than what it really is supposed to be, but nowadays it's being used in the replacement of communism. And they want to go in the system and try to fix that. Like if they're gonna do anything different from what used to happen in the past with a lot of segregation. So these people focus on race, and their policies never work, and they disenfranchise other races. So, I mean, it's indirect racism because these people really, I really do believe they don't hate Black people, but they policies is extremely oppressive, and they want to give more power to the government to take property away from all people. All right, let me continue.
It's not fair to just say we recognize that the history is problematic, but there's also a positive history that James very diligently pointed out.
Communists came out of the school.
Communist radicals, just people who think
that's
in a different
positive.
way. I mean, radical is an inherently positive thing.
Communists, that's okay.
Yes. The idea of communism is absolutely liberating. It's the idea of embracing a collective spirit to build a better world. I mean, what do you have a defense of this?
It's a liberating thing. It's this collective spirit. Yeah. Everybody besides government officials will be slaves. That's a complete communist system. I mean, look what's happening in China right now. Look what's happening in Australia right now. Look what's happening in Venezuela. They are way more communist than we are. These people are amazing. This is indirect racism. It is.
Instead of just acting shocked, can you give me something to work with?
Yeah, so I think communism is inherently wrong because it strips away the individual. There's no more individual, so people can't be looked at as you're an individual, you're all different, you all have the right to do and be what you want to do and be and believe in. Communism takes away that ability to be who you are. It puts you in a collective to where thought is no longer about the individual, it's a collective thinking. Yes, it is. And then Inherently, communism is wrong because it's based off of theft. Communism is not okay because you don't have the right to your property under communism. Inherently, every person has the right to their property. You don't have the right to your property?
No. Well, right now we're not living in a communist system, but I'm willing to give up. Personal property is a capitalistic notion that has been embedded in us, so we think that it's the right thing to do. Because
why is it?
Personal property basically means you bought something, you earn it. It's yours. You know, personal property means it's yours, and the government do not own it. Nobody own it but you, because you paid for it. It's yours. And these schools is ripping these kids apart. Jeez.
Isn't it right to have your property and have a right to your property?
Because private ownership is directly related to the exploitation of the people who are creating the thing.
So consent to trade with an individual is exploiting. Hold on, I'm talking to her.
No, wait, consent to trade. That's not what I'm saying. When did trade become a point?
You talk about capitalism is wrong because it exploits people. Yes. So consensual trade, I'm talking to her. Consensual trade is exploitation.
Consensual trade is not happening in capitalism. It's not a barter system.
Trade is fine, everyone's on the same playing field. Yeah. Capitalism does not produce even outcomes for people.
Right. That's the point. It shouldn't.
Said capitalism don't produce outcome for certain people. That's the point. And that's true. You know, you work it and you get it. That's capitalism. As long as we have equal rights, equal opportunity, we can actually make it work. In any system, in every system, there's always going to be a pyramid paradigm to a certain degree. Okay. Now, it's always going to be a poor class. It's always going to be people that's trying, ain't good enough, can't be the best. There can't be every person in the NBA, LeBron James. Impossible. If we enact what these people want to do, that means we can't recognize LeBron James for doing what he did. And then the worst NBA player, he won't be recognized as the worst. LeBron won't be recognized as the best. And this is the type of ideology that the communist system brings, which means if everybody in the system under that ideology, we're all slaves, equally slaves to the government.
It's trading.
I mean, if you want
it's competition.
Everybody else?
Wait,
some people inherently are better. Get a job.
What if we live in a system?
We don't.
We don't.
We don't.
So. Have you read the new Jim Crow?
We don't live in a society. I see different colors of people all around me every day.
Just give me the evidence. How do we not live in a society?
So why are 13% of black people disenfranchised right now?
Because 13
people deserve that.
I did not say that. No, I don't think anybody inherently deserves something based on the color of their skin.
To me why 13% of black people are disenfranchised in this country.
So 13% of the population is what makes up black people.
Millions of people are disenfranchised because of the systems.
Tell me the
this
system.
Country is based on.
Tell me the system.
Mass incarceration, the prison industrial complex.
Okay. Let's talk about that 13% of black population. Almost 90% of that 13% are Democrats living in Democrat cities for over 100 years now, right? And the Democrats, socialist Democrats / communists, and we're in a Democrat city. We are under Democrat control, under Democrat rule. Republicans have rarely any say in a Democrat-run city? Or did that ring a bell to you? So all of this institutional racism and disenfranchised treatment is done by the very party that they're trying to empower. This is why cities like New York and the prices, the living, everything is extremely expensive. The rich get extremely richer in New York, a Democrat-run city. They've been a Democrat-run city for a very long time. I think the last time was Giuliani. Not quite sure. But most of those 13% of the Black population lives in Democrat cities, meaning their policies, their treatment, what's happening with them is mostly Democrat policies and regulations and restrictions. So that ain't us. That ain't us doing that to Black people. It's not. You leave those Democrat cities, you will see. But they living under the policies of these Democrat people who pretty much rape them for everything that they earn.
The military-industrial complex are all perpetuated on the notion that Black and brown bodies are less than white bodies.
So that's in the law.
That is prescribed in the law, yes.
Can you show me where? What's the law?
The 13th Amendment says it abolishes slavery except for the fact of people in jail, right? So it's like you have this issue of mass incarceration because Black people are, for the same crime, the same amount of times they're committed, they are incarcerated more times because they don't have resources to get a lawyer. They don't have resources to get any legal defense. So they're put in jail, right? Then they're stripped of the right.
So they're put in jail because they don't have a legal defense?
Yeah,
You have the right to an attorney.
You have the right to a paralegal. It's different. A private attorney has way more political power, way more social capital than a paralegal does.
It's really disappointing. You guys think so lowly of Black people in this country that you think that they inherently do not have these resources. Why do you think Black people are so below you? Why are they so below you?
For 400 years, dude. Have you read a book?
So they're inherently below you. You guys act like they can't do anything on their own. You want to talk about, guys, you guys want to talk about a prejudiced system and a prejudiced society. The only people I see putting Black people down below them is you guys, white liberals, white communists that sit there and say, what are you?
I'm like a democratic socialist.
Okay, a communist. So you guys are the ones saying Black people, based on their skin color, can't do X, Y, and Z.
No.
Yes, you are.
The system did that to them. We're not saying they're inherently.
And then there's that communist collective ideology. Yes, resist. What are you resisting?
I'm resisting you, bitch.
Wow, very progressive and brave.
Like, I don't understand what you're trying. Like, can you just tell me what you're trying to accomplish? Because I want an open dialogue with you, but you're not giving me.
You just called me a. Do you really want an open dialogue when you're calling me names?
Because I want you to give
Will
me,
you
like,
apologize?
evidence. I'm sorry for calling you a bitch.
All right, thank you.
Fans at Kent State too.
Yeah, I'm sorry that you were there sucking. So actually, just for the
Obviously, she knows something they don't know. Like we don't know. She knows something. I'm gonna continue because you can see the conversation was like she these damn beta males, man. It's ridiculous. Hold on.
camera. This guy was at a party at Kent State. I don't know what you were doing there, but he was giving out free blowjobs in return.
Yeah.
I guess I was.
Why were you giving out free blowjobs?
Communism.
Yeah.
Give it to everyone.
Collective spirit. For the wealth.
Yeah, this is penis.
All right. You guys think you're acting funny, but I encourage you to look at this video after we put that in there. This is great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I ain't saying what Caitlin is saying about dude is true. I don't know. But you gotta admit that was pretty funny. It's pretty funny. And he just like, oh, he just like agreed to it. So I'm assuming something happened. Probably ain't exactly the way she said, but something happened. But she could get real nasty right back at them. You know, you could tell that they kind of got under her skin. I love watching her content. Fucking awesome. Now, this is another one, right? Where you can see people genuinely believe that Black people are lesser than by default. Like that's just how these white people think and believe. Now, this is about voter ID. I'm sure a lot of you probably saw this already, but I never really made a video talking about it and putting my 2 cents on top. So let me see. Let me try to change the view a little bit. Right? If I could just get some type of support on her, you know?
I'm Ami Horowitz, and I'm here in Berkeley, California to find out if voter ID laws suppress the Black vote.
Oh my God, it's racist.
Do you have an opinion on voter ID laws?
Yeah, they're usually pretty racist.
Now, he's going to white people first, and then he's going to go to Black neighborhoods and ask Black people. Now, mind you, this is what I call indirect racism. Like these people really, these are liberals, these are leftist people, they're Democrats, and then he's gonna go to Democrat people and ask the same questions. And it's completely different. These white liberals has extreme privilege under the government, and they believe they are inherently racist. So a lot of ordinary people are good people. Their views on Black people is screwed. And they psychologically believe within themselves that that they are superior. So they do the guilt trip. Oh, poor Black people, white people are racist. They dominated America for so long. Like, it's inverted racism. That's like accepting the logic that Black people are less than, and they're being treated poorly by the system. So I digress. Let me play this. But listen.
They're bad. I think voter ID laws are a way to perpetuate racism.
Would you go as far as say those laws are racist?
For sure.
Do you think it suppresses the African American vote?
Definitely.
Tell us how.
Because they're less likely to have state IDs.
Minority voters are less likely to have the kinds of IDs that have been described or required.
These type of people don't live in areas with easy access to DMVs or other places where they can get identification.
You can always get.
These people really believe that. And they're convincing the dumbed down leftist Black people that voter ID laws is racist. How do Black people even believe that when damn near every Black person got an ID? IDs. How? Now, this is the leftist white people that resides over the politics of Black people. And this is what they think about Black people. Inverted racism.
IDs you do over the internet, Does that also make it difficult for black people in particular?
Yeah, you have to have access to the internet. You have to be able to pay an internet service provider for certain fees.
Do you think that's harder for black people to go online?
Well, I feel like they don't have the knowledge of how it works.
A lot of people have smartphones, but you might not have data.
For most of the communities, they don't really know what is out there just because they're not aware or like they're not informed. I also think there's a repression of like black voting with how if you're a convicted felon, like you're not allowed to vote and everything. And when you look at
So is that all black people, miss? A convicted felon can't get an ID. That's BS. They can get IDs. But they do lose their right to vote, which is understood, because in order to be a criminal, you have to have some type of disconnect mentally. If you're not an abiding citizen, that could be a problem. So, let me continue.
swing states like Florida, that's a huge population of the like African Americans.
Now I'm here in East Harlem.
Bruh, she really think the jail cells is completely filled up with black people. So the voter ID laws is racist, in her opinion. Terrible, terrible fucking people.
To ask black people their thoughts on what you just heard. Do you have ID normally? You carry ID around?
Yes, I have state ID.
Do you carry ID?
Yes, I do.
Do you know any black person who doesn't carry ID?
No. Everyone that I know has ID. Why would they think we don't have ID?
That's a lie. Why would they say that?
Do you have ID?
Yes. Because I have my ID and my friends have their ID, so like, we know what we need to carry around.
Yeah. Like I said, leftist white people, leftist Democrat white people are running the politics of black people. And this is what they think about black people. We're not smart enough to get an ID. We need to be coddled, pet, like a pet, and told where to vote, where to go, and how to get IDs. These are leftist, white, socialist, Democrats / communism. And black people keep falling in the line of leftist white people. These people are racist. These people are inverted racist. I'll continue.
Everybody that I know have ID. Like, that's one of the things you need to walk around with New York with, an ID.
Do you know any black adult who does not have ID?
No, I don't.
Is it a weird thing to even say that?
Yes, it is.
What is this, some type of trick candy cameras?
I know, right? That's the only thing I brought with me.
Those legit IDs. I heard a lot also that black people can't figure out how to get to the DMV.
Really?
What does that say to you?
I know it's that. It's on 25th Street.
Do you know where the DMV is around you?
It's on 125th Street and 3rd Avenue, I believe.
You know how to get there?
Yeah.
Did you have a problem getting there if you have to get there?
No.
I know these sound like silly questions. You know how to get to the DMV?
Of course.
You know where it is?
Yeah.
You can get there?
Uh-huh.
No problem.
No problem.
Just checking.
Okay.
And I also heard a lot that black people, especially poor black people, have no access to the internet, can't figure out how to use the internet.
That's just stupidity, honestly. Everybody has access to the internet. Even a little kid can figure out how to work the internet.
I had access to the internet for years.
You know how to use it properly?
Exactly. I do it at work. So, of course, I know how to use it. My kids know how to use it. They all have iPads, iPods, whatever.
Your phone has data?
Mm-hmm.
You can actually
Unlimited.
Unlimited data.
Mm-hmm. I use my phone as a hotspot.
What does that say to you for the people who have this perception of black people?
They're pretty much ignorant. That's what my thought process was.
I just think that's ignorant. Ignorant.
Ignorant. That's the word I hear
Very
a lot.
ignorant.
Ignorant.
Very, very ignorant.
Does it sound racist for somebody to say that?
I think it is a little racist because, you know, you're putting people in a category and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Maybe a little bit of racist in it, but like I said, I think it's more stupidity and ignorance.
You judging somebody, like, but you judging them because they black, saying that they don't got it.
What people are they talking to? Who are these people talking to?
Do you have a problem that if you go to vote and they say, "Can we please see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are"? Are you
Love showing my ID.
You have no problem with that?
Nope.
Would you have a problem if when you go to vote, if they say, "Can we please just see your ID to make sure you are who you say you are"? Do you have an issue with that?
No.
Would you have a problem if there was a rule where you had to show your ID in order to vote?
I don't think so. No.
Would you have an issue if there was a rule saying you got to show your ID before you vote?
Nah.
Are you cool with that?
Yeah.
So, in other words, I believe most black people don't got nothing against voter ID laws. It's just that the media is mostly leftist, run by the elites. And they force feeding black people that ID laws is racist. And they'll have their little pundits come on TV and act like it is racist because black people can't get to the DMV, black people, and they start pushing this narrative into the inner cities where black people mostly are. Now, they're using this to gain power. No matter how ridiculous it sounds, this is what they do. Now, guys, interesting. All right. I mean, me personally, I believe there's still some racism out there. I don't believe that the country is 100% purged from racism. But I believe we probably 99, 95% finished with racism. I mean, as long as black people got opportunity, you know, we able to pretty much make our own way within the system. I mean, we have every black person, not every black person, I'm sorry, but we have a lot of black people that achieved what most races did not achieve in this country already, which is get in that high office, like presidency, like high-ranked generals, top-ranked generals, lawyers, doctors of all sorts. So I don't believe that the system can be systematically racist. But if you live in a Democrat city, it's run by Democrats, people who think like that I just showed you, what is that saying to you? These people think black people are lesser than. It's not a surprise that black people feel like there's racism everywhere. When you have a high percentage of black people living in Democrat cities, and they got to go to these institutions with people that think like that. So when black people say they experiencing racism, it's true. Believe that. They're experiencing a lot of racism because that huge percentage of black people that live in all Democrat cities are all at the bottom of the economic totem pole. So every institution, or most of the institutions around these people are run by people like that, who don't think you're smart enough to work a computer, who don't think you're smart enough to know how to get to the DMV. Despite people like Obama, Colin Powell, Ben Carson, highly intelligent people, right? Besides seeing the success of black people, they still believe black people are lesser than. That tells you a lot about the Democrat Party. Whether you want to digest this information or not, it shows a lot about you. So, with that being said, I'm going to show you that you could become a member of this channel and get 15% off on all American. Nice, right? Yeah, nice. I just took the whole camera off. Jeez. Not fair. But yeah, take this video, like, share it, send it out there, send it to your friends, and chime in to the next video. I told you guys, I can't really schedule when I'm gonna do this. Can't. But if you hit the subscribe button, the notifications, you will get notified of my videos. And I appreciate everybody that did. You know, and if you haven't, please do that. Ain't no sense of sitting there watching video after video after video. Don't hit the like button. Don't subscribe. I don't even do that to people. And I don't like a lot of content out there. I don't do that to people. You know, but if you really want to support, you want to put your help out there, if you cannot donate, you cannot purchase a product, hit the like button. Free. But I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate it. Share the video. Help this operation grow. And I vow to change the world. Yeah. Wow, I keep pressing the wrong one.
Only one of the greatest, that is a vow, yeah, that is a promise. Always wanted to be famous, just being real, yeah, just being honest. My haters won't always be nameless, give them no clout, I give them no power. Creators built different, they ancient, sooner than later, what will be ours? I keep an eye out for the numbers, I stay in contact, synchronization. To infinity, even beyond it, I am a common, no destination.
Make sure you subscribe for more videos. Third eye philosophy, man. Stop playing.